going, guys? Welcome to another Sith sorcerer guide. As you can see, I'm stood again in front of the DN314 tunneler, and today I'll be going over the madness damaging tree. Probably doing a bit of a comparison in another video between lightning and madness, and we'll start with the talents. First we have calcify, increases damage done to lightning. The talents are quite straightforward as we go up. There's nothing really to think about, unlike the lightning one. Increased willpower, didn't want to reduce damage taken. Increased the critical strike chance of force lightning and lightning strike. Bit of extra healing from my periodic crits. When you act now, this is a interesting talent. This is probably one of the only interesting talents actually. When you activate shock, you have a 40% chance, 45% chance to activate a second shock, dealing 50% of normal damage. So I thought this was a good idea, as many of you probably have. It could be, but in my opinion, I don't actually like using shock in my rotation. I've had a couple of attempts with the DN314 tunneler using shock, and there's one major problem I've run into. Putting shock into my rotation has made my force, I can't actually kill a level 18 champion boss without my force running out when I put shock in my rotation, which is very strange, because the only real kind of force recovery we have comes into this talent here, Sith efficiency, FSC, whatever that says, where it reduces the pushback, and each time force lightning deals damage, you have a 100% chance to recover 1% of your total force. So the only force regeneration we have is from dealing damage with force lightning. So each time force lightning ticks, you get 1% of your total force back. So unlike lightning, where we had force regeneration rates and a certain amount back from whatever, we only have 100% chance to recover 1% total force from force lightning, which can cause a bit of an issue when it comes to our force. And to be honest, a 45% chance isn't amazing, and 50% of normal damage isn't amazing either, because if we look at it, it does 500-ish damage, so it's going to put you up about 750. I mean, crushing darkness does more than that. Death field does more than that. Force lightning does a hell of a lot more than that. So I kind of, after testing it out a few times, I've removed it from my rotation. I've pushed it off to the side. Maybe that's wrong. Please leave some comments, let me know what you think. But we'll continue on, shall we? Death field. Now when you first get this, it will just be an AoE. Not really anything much to it. You probably won't use it in your single target rotation. Maybe you will, because it is a lot of burst damage actually, so you probably will. But yeah, that's going to be your first talent ability. Really good. 3 targets. Would have been better if it was like all the targets, but you know, can only ask for so much, I suppose. We've already covered this one. Takes away pushback and recovers your force. Madness, this is amazing. Force lightning no longer has a cooldown, meaning as you gain this ability you can get rid of your lightning strike, and you can just spam force lightning from now on, which you need to do to recover your force. So spamming force lightning between doing other things is one of the things you'll definitely be wanting to do. I did not take corrupted flesh. I didn't feel I needed to reduce damage taken from periodic effects for PvE. And I took haunted dreams because I needed to put points somewhere, and I couldn't really think of anywhere else to put them. Lowers the activation time of whirlwind, which is great for CC, and if someone does break your CC, which can happen in PvE, let's be honest, there are people that do that, the target is stunned for 2 seconds, so that is still helpful. And my last point I managed to put up is Death Mark. Your death field places a death mark on the affected targets, increasing the amount of damage they suffer with periodic effects by 20% for 30 seconds. So that's a straight up 20% buff to all your periodic effects. effects, all your dots. As we carry on, yet again, Force Horrors, I couldn't get this because I haven't got enough points, but increases the damage dealt by your affliction by 7.5%. That's probably going to go up to 15%. You know, it's your dots again. Dots, dots, dots. Everyone loves them. So this is definitely the tree if you want to be a... Well, let's make a comparison to WoW, shall we? This is the kind of warlock class, whereas lightning is more of a mage. So it's kind of strange how they got classes looking into talent trees. But anyway, let's carry on. Lingering Nightmares increases duration of your crushing darkness by 2 seconds. It's helpful, definitely helpful. You'd be wanting to go into that. Devour increases the amount of healing generated by Death Field by 10%. And this talent here, I don't know if you want it for PvE, really. I don't know, you might do. It's kind of up to you. It definitely sounds like more of a PvP ability. You know, for healing yourself by doing damage definitely sounds good to me. But at the same time, if you're in PvE and your healer's struggling or you're raiding, it's also very helpful. Creeping Death increases the critical damage of your Death Field and your periodic damage abilities by 10%. This is basically the same as Reverberating Force, but for your main abilities in the Madness tree. It just increases the critical damage they do. It's like a straight up surge buff for your dots and Death Field. And then the last ability we get is Creeping Terror. Paralyzes the target in fear, immobilizing him for 2 seconds, dealing 775 internal damage over 18 seconds. Obviously in PvE, the paralyze isn't really going to be great. 2 seconds isn't that much. But 775 damage over 18 seconds, that's a long dot, and it's quite a lot of damage, so that's just going to be something else you have to keep up again and again and again. It has a 9-second cooldown, and it lasts for 18 seconds, so this is not going to be the kind of ability you want to use every time it's off cooldown. Unless you're PvPing, in which case you might want to, you know, reparalyze someone, which would be great. Moving on to some other things. Reduce the activation, no. Force crit, again, probably useful. Reduces force cost, definitely going to be useful. Increase total force, definitely going to be useful. Increase the damage dealt by lightning strike, crushing darkness, chain lightning, and thundering blast. Well, chain lightning and crushing darkness are definitely in your rotation. I would probably take that. And, you know, just figure it out from here. Go where you want to go. But yeah, that pretty much covers it for the talents. Not really much else to talk about. It's quite straightforward, and yeah. So we can move on to the rotation. Now, like I said, I have tried this a few times, and the best rotation I've found is to start off with a Crushing Darkness, and then Affliction, and throw your Death Field up, and Force Lightning. During the fight, because of one of your talents, I believe it is this one here, Wrath, when your Force Lightning deals damage, you have a 30% chance to cause your next damaging force attack with an activation time to activate instantly and do 20% more damage. Basically means, throughout the fight, you're going to get a small buff, and it's going to make your Crushing Darkness instant cast, and do more damage. Alternatively, you know, yeah, I can't really think of any other ability that a damaging ability with an activation time. I don't know. So it's pretty much a Crushing Darkness buff. Makes it do 20% more damage. Makes it instant cast, which is good for when you're actually fighting. So let's get down to it, shall we? I'm going to make another video and compare Lightning and Madness. So I'm going to try and make this as close as possible to the same, and I believe in my Lightning video I was stupid enough not to buff myself, so I'm going to unbuff myself on this one. My gear has not changed. I kept the same gear for this reason. My gear on Kemval has not changed. He is the same as before, but I have gained a level or two, so do bear that in mind. It won't be the exact same. Sorry, it's not scientific, but it's better than nothing. It's as close as I can get it. So let's start then, shall we? As I said, Crushing Darkness, throw up an Affliction straight after, Death Field, and then just start spamming Force Lightning over and over. Don't let your Affliction fall off, have a look, keep an eye on it. Crushing Darkness whenever it's off cooldown, I just saw it as instant. Death Field when it's off cooldown. And just spamming Lightning again. Affliction back up. Force Lightning, Force Lightning. Crushing Darkness. Force Lightning again. Death Pact. And that's pretty much it. Keep your dots up. Use Death Pact and Crushing Darkness on cooldown and you're pretty much good to go. And just spam that like Force Lightning because you need as much Force regen as possible, and that is where all your regen comes from. And that is that. Nothing really very interesting. It's in my opinion, it's not as fun as the lightning tree, but that is my opinion. This seems more suited to probably a PvP playstyle. Having Force Lightning on no cooldown means you can constantly slow your target by 50%. You get other things in here. You get an instant whirlwind with a stun if it gets broken. There's so much things here. You can reduce damage taken, straight up reducing damage taken here. You get healing from your periodic effects. You can lower the cooldown of your electrocute by 10 seconds and your whirlwind effects up to 1 extra standard target. You know, so you could effectively CC 2 people and you get your stun a lot quicker. There's a few things here that are definitely more PvP orientated, but at the same time there was also a lot of things in Lightning PvP orientated. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see how the numbers work out, how quick the kills were, in another video, which I'll probably put a link to somewhere. And yeah, so that's the Madness Tree. It's quite simple and, in my opinion, not as enjoyable, but still very fun. Reminds me much of a Warlock from World of Warcraft. So if that's your thing, if that's how you like to play, yeah, give it a go. See if you enjoy it, and let me know how you find it. Let me know how you found this guide, and if it helped you. Let me know if I've done something wrong, because if I have, I will remake and revisit this guide. So yeah, thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.